afternoon. Let's jump right in. Today we're going to talk about East Coast Migrant Head Start and professional development and the organizational change that occurred. Organizational behavior studies work behaviors and individuals employed. Organizational behavior is derived from social science and is an applied concept. The goals of organizational behavior are description, prediction, explanation, and control. The organization. East Coast Migrant Head Start Project, or ECMHSP, was established in the 1970s by a faith-based organization. It was a group of nuns who started the mission, and the mission was to provide a safe place for children of migrant farm workers to be during the day while their parents were at work. This mission derived from safety. Many years back in the early 70s, as farm worker families were working in the fields, they were taking the young infants and toddlers there, and tragic things would happen. Heat stroke, of course, is one of those things because they're in the sun long periods of time, as well as up to death because there are large equipment out in the fields as they were working. They were able to secure Head Start funds in the early 1970s, and it established the organization. One thing that made this organization unique is that they were open opposite of when school districts were in, so therefore they were able to provide care when school districts were not open, and also their hours of operation, because it was migrant farm work, they usually open like around 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. East Coast Migrant Head Start had 36 schools through 9 states, so all up and down the East Coast, and that was established so that children would have a safe place to go and to provide a continuity of services. So the professional development culture that had previously been for East Coast Migrant Head Start was every employee received a professional development plan upon hire. So upon hire, of course, your plan included all of the orientations and getting acclimated to your job. After the 90 days, the plan consisted of different avenues. So it would be training, workshop, college credits. And so that led to being able to hire within. They had an educational budget, extensive partnership with colleges, as well as state organizations such as TEACH, which is an organization that provides scholarships for early childhood educators. And also it fed into succession planning. So one of the main important things that happened there is that college credits were required. So if you were an assistant teacher and you were hired in at the minimum requirement, then you were required to take at least 6 college credits per year to obtain your AA degree, because most are just hired in because assistant teacher is an entry level, and that was having their credentials. A certification such as a CDA, a National CDA, Child Development Associate, which is a credential. The same thing was for lead teachers. If you were hired in with the AA degree, which is the minimum requirement, you were required to take six college credits per year until you obtained your bachelor's degree. Center directors or center managers, the same. If you were not hired in with the preferred qualifications, 6 college credits per year to obtain a master's degree. Now we're going to discuss the problem. In early 2018, the leadership changed. And so with the leadership change came a new CEO. The previous CEO retired. And so, according to Scandura, the change benefited some, but it was to the detriment of others. The elimination of the college credit requirement took place. And that was because several of the staff began to complain about having to go to school, that it was way too much. And so that requirement was eliminated. The organization did continue to provide specific job training, and so it was just really specific to your work at East Coast. So whether it was you're specific to your classroom or new process. So they did continue to have professional development. However, the professional development structure did remain. It just was not pushed as much as before. So if you were highly motivated, you could still tap into that, the funding, the scholarships, and all of those things, but it was not a requirement any longer. The implications that this change had, it decreased, staff decreased in professional knowledge, because most of the knowledge that they were obtaining was specifically for their job. So not a general foundation in early childhood or education overall. According to the East Coast Migrant Head Start website, and looking at their program information report, child outcomes decreased, not drastically, but there was a slight decrease in child outcomes. Furthermore, succession planning became obsolete. And so one of the things that Church and Seton noted, that organizations can utilize learning agility as a core to talent management and succession planning. And so that became obsolete. And then there was a decrease in employee satisfaction. And the decrease in employee satisfaction came because they were hiring a lot of staff that from the outside, because no longer did the current staff meet the minimum requirements to move up to the next position. So the concepts that I looked at when I was deciding recommendations and looking through research is the path to goal theory, and that is the path to assist employees to achieve goals. And that is one of the things that working with leaders to remove all obstacles. Also looking at organizational commitment, employees committed to remain with the organization, how that looks and how you can build upon that. And finally, evidence-based management, using critical thinking to make decisions, but using multiple modes of evidence when making those decisions. So my recommendations are, when using evidence-based management, is re-envisioning the requirements. So not necessarily decreasing the requirements for the 6 college credits, but re-envisioning that. Ensuring that the courses are spread and that you're only taking 1 course per semester, because maybe some of them are trying to take 2 and get it out of the way. And for those that are significantly challenged, then reduce their college credit requirement to 3 credits per year. Develop a cohort of colleagues, because according to research, professional networks motivate and provide sustaining networks for each other, and that also adds into a support system of colleagues that have already experienced that and moving through college courses and obtain their degree. So provide that support for your colleagues. And then when using the path to goal theory, analyzing the barriers. The organization needs to analyze those barriers that prevented staff from wanting to pursue their college credits and implement some strategies to protect those factors. You're going to aim at building a successful path to eliminate those barriers, whether that is internet, whether that is childcare, whether that is tutoring, but all of those aspects that may hinder employees. And finally, looking at rewards. The organization can develop a conglomerate of rewards for staff to choose from if they exceed their professional development requirements. And that is getting donations, and maybe they get an extra day off for every college credit, or assign a dollar amount to that college credit and giving them an stipend that they can choose from. And here are the references that I use. And thank you so much. And if you have any suggestions on other recommendations, because this is actually a true scenario, please feel free to leave that in the comments. Thank you.